Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. Certainly glad to have you today. And as always, you can see our programs on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Cable Channel 18. And we'd like to thank our sponsors of our program, Embers Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Row Antiques of Pikeville, and White Wagon Bed and Breakfast of Pikeville. So if you're in Pikeville, go by and see those fine folks. And today we have with us Dylan Roberson, and he's Director of HR Marketing at Mountain Valley Bank. So Dylan, it's good to have you. We appreciate you being with us today.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me.
And first of all, let's do a little history, a little background of the bank. Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Of course, yeah. People might find this interesting to know. It started off as Sequatchie County Bank. Mountain Valley Bank was originally Sequatchie County Bank. It was started in 1905, and it's actually, I believe it's the sixth oldest bank in East Tennessee.
Oh,
it's a very old bank, but it was here in Sequatchie County for many years, and it was only one location. They started out at 1905 in the Moore Hotel, actually in the bottom of the Moore Hotel here. And we're here for up until 1969. In 69, they built another location, actually just kind of right across the street from here. Yeah. Still can see the sign on the top, like in the brick and the concrete. In 69, we built that. Still was just one location though, here just serving the community. Been a community bank since the beginning, you know. But then around 2000, they built our location now that's on Main Street, on Rankin Avenue, down through here. The big building. And when they did that, they built that in 2000, and then 2001 they determined if we were going to grow and expand into other areas, they needed to have a name that would kind of fit that. And so I think around that point in time we purchased a bank in Monteagle, Tennessee. And since it was a mountain and a valley, we changed the name to Mountain Valley Bank. And so that's kind of been the history of the bank, just as far as where we've been. As far as what we've done, we've just been a member of the community for a long-standing time. And been,
well over 100 years.
Exactly, well over 100 years, yes, absolutely.
Now you also have recently are in the process of building a location in, was Kimball?
Yeah, it was Jasper. Yeah. We actually we opened the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay.
So we now actually have locations. We have two here in Dunlap. We've got the main branch, the big bank, up at the north end of town, and then in the south end of town on Highway 28, we have another branch there as well. It's a smaller branch. We don't open checking accounts. We don't open many accounts there, but we do take transactions and that kind of thing at that location. And we've opened, I told you, Monteagle several years ago, and then this year we opened the Jasper branch, and it's doing really well. We're really pleased at the success we've had down there.
Well, it's a nice building. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think so. I'm partial to it myself, but we actually too are in the process of growing, you know, and planning on future growth as well. We don't have anything set in stone yet, but it's a good time. I feel like I'm happy to be with the bank right now because we have a lot of growth happening.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good that you have growth.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely better than the alternative, right?
Yeah, that's true. Now, basically, I know a lot of people, especially when they're younger, like in youth and teenage years, I think of a bank as checking and savings accounts and maybe some loans, but what are some of the other services y'all offer?
Well, we offer IRAs, money market accounts. Those are pretty much the gist of the meat of what we do as community banks. We do savings accounts, we do checking accounts, we do loans. Right now, probably our most popular checking account would be our interest checking. We just increased the rate with that, and most of our products are geared to help the community and help community members. We try to talk to customers as they come in, because like you said, most people just think of banking as a checking account, a savings account, and maybe don't know all the different options you might have with different types of checking or different types of savings. And so with that, we try to discuss what people are needing and find out what they're wanting to do with the accounts or what they're wanting to do with their money to help advise them or help, put them in the product that would serve them best. I will say that recently, I think it's over the past year or two, we have been certified as what's called a CDFI. It's a Community Development Financial Institution. We're one of the only ones of those really in the area. I think there's maybe one in Grootly Lager in that area. I don't know that it's based out of a bank though. I think a lot of times your CDFIs are different types of entities. And what a CDFI does, or what it is, it's specially geared. They have oftentimes have specific products geared to helping lower income or people developing areas to help support businesses and that kind of thing. And so by getting that certification, it's allowed us to help a lot of people that we might not have been able to help before.
Gives you more leeway.
It really does. And starting in the next quarter of next year, we're actually going to be rolling out some new loan products, a new first-time home buyers product, and a few other consumer products to help the community. And so we're pretty excited about that too.
So basically, not only banking, but y'all are really educating people as well.
We very much try to, yes, absolutely.
Because like you say, a lot of times they don't know their options.
You're absolutely right. And it's because, I'm in banking, so I'm going to know banking. You're in radio, you're in TV, you're going to know how to work a camera or how to interview somebody. And the general public don't always know what they need, what they don't know, if that makes sense. And so we do our best to show them different options and to help educate.
Well, those different options might save them in an area instead of having to go one way that they think they might have to go. Then you might show them, so well, here's a cheaper route or a less expensive route to go.
Absolutely.
And that helps you as well as them as well.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Customer service is extremely important because ultimately it benefits both the customer and the bank. Because as a bank, we're obviously a business. We're in a business to make money, but we're also, banking is a little different than most businesses because it's also a service to the community. And you have to look at it like that in a way that you're helping the community build their financial state, helping them with their personal finances. And then at the same time, because of that, it helps the bank and helps our finances as well.
Well, and speaking of helping the community, I know y'all do a lot of community networking. You're out there at events, ball games, schools, just you name it. I've seen y'all there.
That's true. We are very involved with that. And of course, with my role with the bank, I'm the director of HR and marketing. The marketing piece, I'm very much involved with that part of it. I know Marvin Price, one of our CFO and COO, he is very involved with the Hee Haw program here, and he always plays Doc every year in the program. And I think he's a mainstay there. But that's good. We want to be part of those kind of things because that's to help benefit the Cancer Support Network. We have a bake sale every year for that to help raise money. In conjunction with that, we do several different drives with the food bank to help them locally. This past year we did helped with the Alzheimer's walk that helped, and let's just name a few. There's so many things we do try to be involved with because ultimately, like I said before, we're a community bank. We want to help the community, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess, or however you want to look at it. But we help the community, so the community helps us, and we work together. If that makes sense.
Right. Well, they see your name out there, and then they go to you because they see your name.
Yeah, and that's what we hope. But at the same time, we don't do it just for that reason because we want to be good community partners, and we want to help people better themselves and their lives, and because ultimately if we all do that, then things are better.
Well, it's like you're almost like don't want to put church in this, but it's like your Christian responsibility. You're helping those who need help, and then they in turn will come back and support you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, like I said, we don't do the things for that reason specifically. We just try to be a good community partner.
Right. And that way people can depend on you. Well, I know with the changing economy here lately, especially within the last year, and I'm not trying to call politics here, but with the economy, with things going up, prices and gas and food and everything, even housing. The housing is going crazy.
Yeah, it really. And over the past year, the housing market has been. It's really been booming. I mean, it's crazy. But then also, price of materials for building is going up too. So it's kind of a balancing act. One thing goes up, then another thing goes up, and so on and so forth. We've seen really an increase in our loans, and I really feel privileged to be in this area, because I will say, coming out of the pandemic, a lot of areas and a lot of people throughout the country were really hurting.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, I feel like in some ways we were insulated here, and people didn't feel that impact quite as much.
Right.
Surprisingly, during that period of time, we actually saw our deposits increase.
Really?
And I feel partially part of that reason is people weren't going out. You're kind of afraid to go out, and so they were saving money, and so that caused our deposits to go up. Well, on the back end of that, and things the way it's turning now, with housing market going how it was, we've seen an increase in loans, and so we're lucky to have those deposits to help offset those loans. But I do see, and we have been seeing some rate increases though, and I think that's kind of the expectation that we're looking at moving forward, kind of across the board throughout all banking. But the other part to that, we have increases in loan rates. You have increases oftentimes in your savings rates and your checking rates too. And like I mentioned about our interest checking, we just kind of raised our rates with that to kind of help offset that, if that makes sense.
And I imagine though there's been some people that since with the economic turns, they've decided to forego loans and not do things that they would like to do.
Yeah, and that is true, absolutely. And I will say too, again, coming out of the pandemic, when people had that money saved up, they didn't need the loans as much because they felt more secure. But I will say right now things have been pretty steady for us from what we've seen. I don't think we've seen a dip in lending. I think part of that may be due to the housing market, because it was kind of booming. But we are seeing that kind of trail off now a little bit. It's not as crazy as it was 6 months ago, the housing market, that is.
Right.
And so we are seeing a little bit of a downturn, and trying to make sure we're preparing for that and the potentiality of rates increasing.
Well, and also people need to understand that in a bank, everybody tries to make as much money as they can in life, because they need money. But as a lending institution, y'all are also in the business of you have to make money as well.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, you wouldn't stay in business.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Well, and again, especially being a community bank, we really feel like it's a balancing act. We're there to make money. We have stockholders. We have people that are invested in the bank, and we want to be able to produce for them, so that they have increases, we're able to pay dividends, so on and so forth. But at the same time, it's a balancing act between that and serving the community and being a community partner.
Uh-huh.
And so we try to consistently balance that and ensure that we're able to serve the customer and provide them rates that are manageable. We don't ever, there's some lending practices out there that are predatory, and that's not what we're about.
Right.
We try to help people out and prevent them from having to go payday loans to situations where they're paid paycheck to paycheck. And that, by doing that, if you help a community out and you help a person out that way, well, then they're going to remember that, and they're going to help you and be part of your bank. And so by assisting someone to maybe get out of a financial or credit difficult situation and making them a better financial citizen, then ultimately it builds our bank, because they're going to come and bank with us because we've assisted them.
Right. Well, I know I've heard many stories of different people with Mountain Valley Bank that have gone in thinking, I just hope I get this loan because I've got to have this car or whatever it was they needed. And y'all were able to help them out and get them at a consistent price on their loan. And they liked that, and they said, hey, we're going to go back to them.
Well, again, and that goes back to being that community partner. And again, it benefits, it kind of rolls into that CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, and that assisted us in getting that certification too, those kind of situations. But also too, if we have a customer, there's requirements obviously to meet a loan, and we have to have those requirements to meet it. And if it's a situation where a customer comes in and they're not able to meet those qualifications, obviously we can't make that loan. But if we have those situations, we try our best to talk to that customer and say, okay, this is the reason we can't do this right now. Maybe the credit score is X or so on and so forth. Here's some possible things that you might be able to do to increase that credit score. Try to assist them so that maybe 6 months down the line, a year down the line, they can come back and have a different answer, if that makes sense.
Right. Because I know those credit scores a lot of times will keep you from getting things.
They really can, and that's a very important thing I will say too to everybody is it's as easy as I'm not plugging anybody here, but there's creditkarma.com. There's all these different credit reporting things, and you have a right to your credit report at least one time a year at no cost, and with no ding to your credit. And so, more than anything, if people can just kind of keep an eye on their credit and know what's on there, then it can help manage that better. Because I will tell a personal story here. My wife had an issue with her credit that dinged, and we got to looking into it and found it was my wife's name is Erica, but it was an Erica spelled with K, hers is spelled with C, in Indianapolis, where someone had in the credit reporting had accidentally gotten her information mixed up and had a ding on her report based off someone else.
Yeah.
So it's really important to know what's on your credit, what's on your credit report, and because you never know, it might not even be something that's yours.
Right. And maybe all these expenses, and you're going, I didn't go there.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. Well, we cover that. And we mentioned briefly about your board of directors. Who your current chairman is Wendell Spicer, right?
Yeah, Wendell's been with the bank a long time.
Yeah,
he's a great guy, and he's always very involved, and we appreciate his involvement. He's a very smart man, and I've had the privilege to go out to his house a couple times, and he's just a good person.
Well, and I've always known Wendell for a long time, and every time it seemed like the bank was doing something, whether it be for the football team or whatever in the community, he was there and cutting up with people and laughing. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was always good because he was always right there with everybody.
He is, yeah. He's just a good down-to-earth guy. And I will say, our board of directors recently has changed a good bit. Unfortunately, some of it changed because of deaths and passing and that kind of thing. But we've got a real good group of directors who really help direct and guide the bank. Andy Billingsley, our president, he's on the board, but he works with them quite a bit to help guide the direction of our financial institution. And it's really good because there's good, bad. One of the big things with our bank is because it was started in 1905, and people that started it had kids, and they passed down their shares, split them up, and then those kids had kids and split them up, so we don't have any one major family stockholder. Uh-huh. It's very diversified between several different stockholders, and so there's not one necessarily controlling interest, so to speak, and so it allows the board of directors to really have leeway to be able to help direct the bank in the best way that they can to make it successful without the concern of a family influence or that kind of thing. So it's been it's a very good thing to have that ability, and they've done an excellent job in really directing us, and that's why we're growing right now.
And your board of directors, they have all this business experience that they've had over the years, and the knowledge they've, they're things they've done right and things they've done wrong, to help help the bank.
Absolutely. What they say, experience is the best educator, right? Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. It's we're very lucky with having the experience that we have on the board.
Well, and evidently they're doing a good job because y'all still around.
Absolutely, yeah. From 1905 to now, we're still here. So
now I know online banking. That's been a few years now going, but how's that go? Does that go pretty good? Is that pretty popular among your?
Yes, I'll say all the negative that happened during COVID and the pandemic. That's one thing that really was a positive. Is it really increased the use of online banking, and having online banking and having that capacity to be able to do your banking without from your couch
Right.
was very beneficial during that time. And we actually a little prior to that we rolled out mobile deposit capture, which is effectively where you can take a picture of your check and deposit it into the bank, so you don't even have to come to the bank to deposit your check anymore. There's a lot of things that online banking and that technology has helped benefit and make easier for the customer. And we've seen, like I said, during the pandemic especially, a big uptick in the amount of use of our online banking system. And so between online on a computer, our app on the phone, there's payment. We have a process on our phone where you can pay bills. You can set up your bill payment. You can pay individuals. There's an invoicing part of our app now that you can do. There's just so many things that you can now do with it that you couldn't do before. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and it also helps that if you're at home and it's after hours, you sit there and going, oh, I need to do this. I didn't get to get out today.
Absolutely, yeah. And I will say, that's one thing I would encourage people as much as possible to do. Now, we are a community bank, and we have the people there to serve the community, and if we get several calls that still come in, hey, I just want to know my balance.
Yeah.
And we're there to help with people that want to know that. But we try to let them know when they call, this is your balance, and if you want, we've got a way that you can check it like that with a snap of a finger or a touch of a screen. And we try to help set people up so they can look at it easily like that and know what's going on without having to make those phone calls or what have you.
Yeah. Well, that's good because it's just easier for a lot of people. And talking about expansion, y'all moved into your, I guess was it Summit?
We that was kind of a tough decision a little bit because we knew we had the Summit room that we used for community events and used for a lot of different things like that. But because we were growing so much, and we're over 50 employees now, and so we just needed the space, and so we've converted our Summit room into workspace for our employees now, and so we lost the ability to use it for community events and that kind of thing, but luckily it's served another purpose, and it's a good thing. But for several years we had a community breakfast in there and that kind of thing. Right. We're still intending to try to do some of those things. I think this year we're going to do a kind of a community, like an open house breakfast, actually in the main lobby of the bank.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And so just figuring out different ways to have events like that without having that building. But that is part of the reason for us changing, was because of the growth. We had to have this. We had to have the space.
Yeah, building on wasn't an option.
Well, not with the building materials right now. But yeah, that's But we're like I said, we're continually looking to expand, and we're still going to have more growth with it throughout the next year. And so, how and where that's going to be, not real sure, but we're excited about it.
Well, that's good. Well, is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about that maybe you want to bring us up to date on or bring to light?
Well, I think that's got pretty much the gist of it. I just appreciate you having us out here and doing this. I think this is excellent. We were excited when the Channel 18 and when the BTC brought this whole thing about. We donated several computers to the schools to help like film games and do some of that stuff, and just glad to see this still thriving and being part of the community, because it's a real benefit, I think, in getting information out to the community. And so appreciate y'all having us out for this.
Well, no problem. It's going to be growing too, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I hope so, for sure.
And, excuse me, Dylan. I appreciate you being with us today, and appreciate the information, because I'm sure people enjoy listening to this.
Well, I appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't stumble around too much.
Oh, no, you're fine. And again, folks, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page, as well as BTC Fiber's cable channel 18. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Roll Antique of Pikeville, and White Wagon and Bed and Breakfast of Pikeville. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.